Well, here is the man everyone's come to see, or certainly one of them, Mark Todd, 44 years old, about to start his last Burley.
And before he set out cross-country, Mark Todd received a wonderful memento of his magic moments at Burley.
I'd just like to say...
But the words just wouldn't come. It was a very emotional moment. 5 times champion here at Burley, and this place has to be all his own.
It took me a long time. I mean, I won my first try at badminton, but Burley sort of eluded me for quite a while, but then suddenly it seemed to click, and I had a run of really good, or wins really, and so no, it's always a lovely event. It's always great to come here. It's a very friendly atmosphere, and you know, it's been good to me.
With such an incredible track record of victories over the 20 years that he's been here, it's not easy to pick out a highlight.
Any major win, like any badminton or any Burley, is special in its own right, and you know, I've been lucky enough. I've probably had more than my fair share of both of them, and plus, you know, the Olympic Games and with charisma, and it's very hard to sort of pick out any one particular win out of any of them. But you know, I've had a great innings over here and thoroughly enjoyed it.
And the outstanding example Mark Todd has set over the last 20 years has been instrumental for the development of eventing over here.
I don't think there's any other country in the world where you can bring a horse on and get as much competition and mileage as Britain.
Most of the Olympic competitors are already in Sydney, so why is Todd here?
Well, I mean, it's always been a policy with the New Zealand riders that we sort of, you know, treat the Olympics or major championships as another competition, and we run the horses, our other horses, right up until the time we go. I guess it is a bit of a risk coming here, but you know, this was a very good horse, and he was one of the horses that might have gone to the Olympics, and so I certainly wouldn't be riding anything that I'm not happy with. And you know, it's going to be my last time here at Burley, so I really wanted to come.
And he's keen to go out with one last victory.
Oh, we didn't come here for the beer. You know, we're here to try and win, and you know, a lot can change on Saturday. I think the course this year is probably a bit softer than certainly last year, and it probably won't be as influential. But you've still got to jump a clear round. You've still got to get inside the time. If you look down the avenue of all the past winners, the majority of people have won it more than one time. I mean, there's myself, Ginny, Lucinda, Richard Walker. You know, a lot of people, if they can win it once, then chances are they're going to do it again.
Well, his very last ride on the 10-year-old Just a Mission, owned by Robin Patrick and Mark himself. Quite a responsibility for this grey horse. He took it to Lexington, Kentucky. In fact, there is a massive £250,000 prize if you can win Kentucky, Badminton and Burley. And of course, he'd won Burley last year, so he was trying to get on a roll, but the horse went well but didn't win. But he'd love to win here now. What a record. 5 fabulous victories. And this man has given us so much in the sport of eventing, Lorna.
Yes, he's a legend, really. He will go down in history as probably the best rider this country has ever known. I mean, not only is he so good in eventing, he is in show jumping as well. He's outstanding in his ability to convert to any horse he rides and to fit into its way of going. And I think many people in this country would like to emulate that. He will be sorely missed, that's for sure. But it's going to be a pleasure watching him on this last ride.
Well, he first came over here in 1978 after the World Games in Kentucky. Burley was his first major 3-day event in '79. And of course, he's been at the very top ever since. Disappointed by his dressage, but certainly safely over the early fences.
Yes, his usual style, light on the saddle, very, very tall. Mind you, it's a very big horse, this, nearly 17 two-hands high. But Mark can ride them big or small, always in balance. I think that's one of his main features. As he comes into this ring, to this new fence, beautifully built and presented. I think it'll be ridden both ways. The short route is okay as long as the horse understands exactly what you want, but he only sees it, as you see, at the last minute as he turns inside the flower bed. Doesn't really look like a jump.
Well, horse and rider moving very easily on the early part of the course, but now we join Lord Killinghurst, Owen Moore at the halfway point. Clear so far. And still looking quite good on the clock. Oh, and the horse rather dives at that.
Yeah, he's been a little bit on the forehand throughout, just a little bit heavy in front. Owen needs to keep his weight well back, because if the horse is on the forehand, he doesn't need his weight on his shoulders. Sit up and keep the horse in front of him. Again, slightly awkward there, not really coming up in front as much as Owen would probably like. Now, of course, this difficult bank, it's quite a daunting fence. As you go down into it, the ditch gets wider and the bank appears to get higher. Well, on and off that okay. It's slightly awkward because it's rounded on top, and then they turn back to a lovely big tree log over a very big ditch in the dark.
Well, here's Feast of Floria still pulling very hard, and the time looks pretty good. Remember, 12 minutes 20 is the time, and this is the last water crossing. Those lovely round barrels in front of the Lion Bridge. Beautiful background. And Claire is setting a very good standard to start with. This Burley title is really up for grabs, and she's going for it.
Well, Mark will be going for it too, even with his dressage. If he can get round in a good time, and he's going the slightly longer route here. It's only a few seconds longer, but it has less of a drop and perhaps slightly safer. Turns back now to the straight route out.
And they're one of the hallmarks of Todd, ridden so accurately. But here is Feast of Flores, the other grey on the course at the moment, flying now with 2 left, and there's a long galloping stretch with 2 fences at this point on the course. If you have got the energy left at this stage, you really can make up time. 1 left now for Clear. 12 minutes 20, the time we're looking for, and it's quite quick. She's going to be over, but it's a very good start indeed.
And what a good ride they've given each other. They've really jumped the fences superbly.
Well, if you look in the top left-hand corner, she's 6 seconds over at the moment and just about to stop the clock. 9 seconds over, 66.2, and that, I would think, is a good start.
Well, Owen just checking back, probably trying to get this horse off the forehand as he comes into this combination of 3 fences. Looks as though he's not going to take it straight. No, he's taking the longer route, jumping 2 first, then turning back. Just 1 stride between the fences if you take the direct route. But you can see there the line of the direct route, and it's very narrow. The ends of the fences you have to jump.
Well, here's Toddy, as he's known in the sport, at the trout hatchery. Longish reins, but still got that control that matters. And he too, another one that is up on the clock at the halfway point.
Not the easiest horse. Rounds beautifully over his fences. Doesn't give the impression of being desperately enthusiastic, but that's probably his style of going. But he's very nice with his use of his back and jumps very big. Oh, quite an effort up there. Oh, Todd making sure that he comes off there. He just thought for a moment on the top. Had to come off one way or another, so Todd just insisted it was the straight way. And nicely over that.
Well, here's Owen Moore in the last third of the course now, to the barrels. Getting some reminders for Owen. It's getting quite late. The horse has been quite inexperienced, but the good thing about it, the horse still seems to be enjoying it and giving of his best. And that means you'll learn by it. Well, this is Merran Wallis from Australia. Remember, she was very well placed after dressage, lying in 2nd place, 42.8. This is a horse with a lot of experience. Andrew Hoy rated as the individual horse in the Atlanta Olympics, finished 11th. And Merran here, as she comes into the arena, is just trying to say to the selectors, why didn't you take me? She had an ambition to get on the team herself this time, and she's gone very well. She was quite close to selection. But if she can make up for it here, I think she'll be satisfied. Certainly been pretty impressive so far.
Well, Todd, you can see concentration written all over him as he comes to these double corners. You can risk riding them a little bit wide, but he's very accurate to both. Now, very, very big spread, 9'2" spread, back over this huge gaping open ditch in front of the hedge. A fence that rides very well, but it's very daunting to stand and look at. He just flies that.
Mark coming down to the podiums. And the interesting thing, Lorna, is that the riders seem to be losing time on the second half of this course. Mark's gone so economically all the way, but he is down on the clock.
Well, if you take the long way here, you do lose quite a lot of time. He's going the quick route, and look at that. On a horse that doesn't look that enthusiastic, and he goes the quick route.
And here's Lord Killinghurst coming home. Just one fence, the Rosette, fence 34 on this course. And you can see Owen losing time every fence just to set the horse up. The horse trying to go down on him, really showing the horse's inexperience. But I think the horse will have enjoyed the experience for this year's Burley. He's well over a minute over. And his good dressage leaves him on 80 penalty points in second place.
Merran Wallis having a great ride on this lovely thoroughbred type, coming to these big, bold spreads.
He jumped the fences and was fantastic on a line and brave everywhere and did everything, but instead of having a balanced horse uphill that I could ask, I felt I had to pick him up a little bit, which wasted God knows how much time.
Well, here's Mark Todd. He can't afford to waste any time. He is down on the clock. It's only a 10-year-old and a horse that is going to stay in Britain, owned by Robin Patrick, who's been a great patron to Mark. And the rumour is this horse could go to William Fox Pitt, but it's still in the hands of Mark Todd as he comes out of the Lion Bridge water.
Gershwin just turning now to the trout hatchery. Big drop in, 2 strides in the water, or 3 depending how you go in, and a bounce out and makes it look easy. Believe me, it isn't easy. It's a big combination of fences, and now she turns back into a fence with running water on the top of it. Quite spooky for the horses. Superb jump again there. This horse really enjoying it. So often in these events, experience counts, and this horse has been there before. Again, slightly awkward onto the bank, but well off it. These horses have to make snap decisions as they approach these fences for the first time they see them.
And so we're witnessing the very last moments of perhaps the finest rider ever seen in the sport of eventing. Come to the very last fence in his last ride. He is well over the clock, you can see. He's already 40 seconds over. He's going to come into the frame in this early stages. A great ride, but perhaps not a winning one. 72.6 for the great Mark Todd.
This the most emotional story of Burley 2000. Veer Phillips riding his late wife Polly's Coral Cove.
Oh, run. Absolutely delighted for everybody and the supporters who've been giving me so much support over the year, that we haven't had an injury and a setback through all the qualification process, because if we'd had an injury or Coral had got an overreach and it had stopped him going to the next stage with me, we couldn't be here. So it's a relief that it's all gone quite smoothly.
It's been a long year for Vere, travelling to Polly's old hunting grounds, following in her path.
What meant the most to me really was to win Polly's Memorial Trophy, which was in Scotland. That was a very emotional competition, and I never dreamt we'd get Coral's name on the trophy first. But Scotland, Eglinton and Auchinleck, where he won, was a very strong track, and then Gatcombe again had strong fences. So having walked the course here at Burley, I feel that Burley's a mixture of the 3 tracks. So those 3 events have really given me the confidence to have a cut on Saturday.
Cross-country and show jumping is second nature to Vere, but dressage, or stressage as he calls it, hasn't been easy.
Dressage was completely alien to me, and I've had to work at the dressage, and it's all because of the trainers that have helped me do it, and all because that Coral's been so highly trained by Polly. I've found it very stressful, and I always thought it was very tedious, but now I'm getting a little bit better at it. I actually quite enjoy it a bit now.
Combined with Vere's riding talent, his eventing partner Coral Cove has been recognised throughout the sport as a rare and exceptional equine individual.
He's got an amazing engine. An engine meaning he keeps going. Even if he's tired, he'll keep going. He's very nimble on his feet. If he makes a bit of a mistake, he'd try and pick himself up and not fall. And he can jump out of speed. And that combination, and he has a lot of scope because he's a grade B show jumping horse, so he would probably have more scope than a lot of the event horses here. My aim was always to try and have a realistic chance of a top 10 finish. If I don't make a mistake, I'm sure the horse won't. We'll do our best to finish on a dressage score if we possibly can.
And one can only admire Vere's determination to support the sport in which his wife lost her life.
The sport gave Polly immense pleasure. It's a great sport, it's great fun, and it's been a real tonic to me.
Well, young and old are here to help Veer around what is his toughest challenge so far. A very talented rider. He's ridden at the top level of show jumping, grade A. He's always been a good man across the country. And as we've heard, the horse very, very talented. And what a year he's had to get here. And everything he's done so far, Lorna, he's done to the very best of his ability, but this is a test.
Yes, it is. It's a big move up for him, but as you say, he's got a very, very talented horse. And of course, he's spent most of his life in the hunting field in Leicestershire. He's a grade A, he rides grade A show jumpers himself, and he's been a horse dealer, which means that you ride every sort of horse going. So his experience is quite something.
Well, here's Merran Wallis, and she's been going very well indeed. A horse that was well placed in Punchestown to put her on the edge of selection for the Olympics for Australia. They are, of course, the Olympic champions, but she's missed out. And she's gritting her teeth and trying to show them they've made a mistake. Down through that avenue where all the winners of the 40 years of Burley are remembered, down to these podiums. And only one or two have gone the direct route. And what is there, about 10-15 seconds to save here, Lorna?
Yes, easily, but it is raining and it makes it more difficult for her. You can see by her face, my God, she's done it in the rain.
Well, those 10 and 15 seconds around the course are proving very necessary, because the time is not proving easy, but this is a combination that could well make time. They're so neat and quick. I mean, truly cat-like.
Yeah, this horse, he's not that small, but he does really use himself well. He wastes no time in the air. He's very, very talented. As you see, his legs covered in grease, so that should he hit anything, he'll slide on over. And Vere wouldn't be one to hang around. Vere, being a show jumper, would have a very good eye for a stride. This is the sort of thing he'll find difficult.
Well, if that's the sort of thing he's going to find difficult, the course could be easy for him.
I'm only too pleased that I've had a clear round, actually. With the Olympics coming up, you know, a lot of people have said, you know, you're mad coming here and doing it, but, you know, it's what we've always done, and I'm pleased I've done it now. It's, you know, a really nice confidence giver going into the Olympics, and as I say, the horse went really well.
Yes, and Toddy makes a very good point there, because our riders down in Sydney rather twiddling their thumbs. In fact, one or two of them have rung up today to find out how things are going, and here's Bill Morris away now, the United States of America.
Well, Gershwin still going well towards the end of the course. Just a little reminder there, one or two have stopped at this fence, and she's just reminding him to keep his mind on the job. He's certainly attacked this course well so far. Through the water, not too deep, up over the boathouse.
Just 4 to go.
Well, Gershwin looking fit, but so is Veer Phillips and Coral Cove, and he's getting a huge response right around the crowd. That will really give him confidence, and he's taking some very direct, confident lines, that's for sure.
Yes, well, if you really want to go for this competition, you have to take the direct lines. Let's see what Pathfinder will do here. And they are, in fact, taking the longer route. Again, you'll see with the turning back on yourself twice, you really do waste a lot of time. Easier to jump, you don't have to be so accurate, but 20 seconds maybe can be lost in the main arena.
Well, here's Gershwin finished. Remember, he was in second place after the dressage, and Merran has made very good use of that. Over the time already, 27 seconds over, but still, remember, it's going to put her in a strong position. Lord Killingshurst leading at the moment, and safely over the last, and that's going to be a new leader for Australia. It is 60.4, and a good round from Merran Wallis. That's the one to beat.
Well, Vere will certainly be trying. His dressage wasn't quite so good, but He wants to keep well in touch, so show jumping on this horse will be very good. Look at the speed with which he goes through these combinations. Just wastes no time. Turns back now to this new fence.
Yes, if he could get round inside the time, Lorna, his dressage is still better than Gershwin's Finnish cross-country score, so he's really got a target to go for.
Well, if he can keep up the speed he started at, it's a long way still to go. But he's certainly not hanging about.
Well, they're certainly pressing on. He's up on the clock at the halfway point, but so is everybody else. Vere, who's a very well-respected dealer, in fact bought Charker, who won Burley here, and also the Olympic horse Bootsy. And what a leap out of there!
Pathfinder now looking for their path through this combination. Again, another one to take the straight route. Quite a big drop on that first fence.
It started raining when I was halfway round. It was a little slippery. I think if it rains anymore, it will get slippery. I think I motored on, but as he's such a big jumper, he wastes a couple of seconds over every fence, so that's where I dropped the time. But I'm very pleased, and I really wouldn't have wanted to go any faster, I don't think.
So an Australian leader at the moment. They're one of the favourites, but so's this man's nation, New Zealand. Andrew Nicholson it is. Andrew, who's never won Olympic gold. He's won team silver, he's won team bronze, and he's riding Mr Smiffy. He's done a very good dressage, and of course he won this title himself in 1995. But he'd love to go down to Sydney with a victory under his belt, I'm sure. That would be a really confident boost.
Yes, a nice ride round here would really boost the morale, but a win would put you on top form, and it's amazing how, when you are in winning form, you can repeat it.
Well, this man's so determined, you don't budge him very easily.